What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. About a month ago, I released a video that took me probably more research than any other, and it was about an unknown coaster in China with the all-too-rare Triple Corkscrew. Now, in that video, I mentioned a lot about that coaster's history, which included its weird manufacturer, location, etc., but also included the coaster that came before it with the world's first Triple Corkscrew. Having said that, my DMs got flooded with requests to do a video on said coaster shortly after that video premiered last month, and it is definitely one that I felt was worth researching. So, in typical fashion, I hit up a couple friends and did some digging on my own to bring this video to you all today. It also has one of the craziest and coolest color schemes on any coaster that I've ever seen, on top of being a terrain coaster with this super cool construction history. I will say though, sadly, it is no longer operating and will most likely close forever, which I'll explain why later. So, what is it, and where did it come from? This is the awesome, yet very sad story of Tongo Fantasia's Fantasia Special. Fantasia Special is a steel custom looping coaster located in Yeonsong, South Korea at the amusement and water park Tongdo Fantasia. Designed by legendary coaster manufacturer Aerodynamics, it opened in 1993 with the world's first triple corkscrew element and featured two back-to-back vertical loops. The park itself was rather small though, and a low budget, so how did such a large attraction come to be here? Well, leading up to the years prior to its opening, Tongo Fantasia had been looking to invest in a much larger, eye-catching attraction that would be the centerpiece for their new park, but not necessarily break the budget. This was also conveniently around the time that Aerodynamics was in the midst of an all-time high and had been opening a number of coasters that same year. These coasters included the Bat at Kings Island, Canyon Blaster at Adventure Dome in Las Vegas, and Thunderation at Silver Dollar City. Seeing this trend and the somewhat affordability of Aero's coasters at the time, Tongo Fantasia then opted to entrust Aero with the task of building them a large-scale coaster of their own. Unfortunately for Aero though, the plot of land the park gave them would prove to be extremely difficult to build on after a survey of the land was taken. With steep slopes, lots of trees, and unstable ground near the base of a lake, Aero definitely had to think outside the box on this one. To cope with these elements though, a layout was designed that actually took advantage of these steep slopes rather than trying to work around them, starting with a station on top of the hill, a drop over the trees, and inversions that actually dipped down over the lake. And after much talk and negotiation, both parties eventually agreed on a final layout that included a large drop, of course the triple corkscrew, and two back-to-back vertical loops. By late 1993, designs on the computer then came to real life, and Fantasia Special was born. It was colored red with white supports, and it actually really did bring the hype the park hoped it would draw in. It actually did so well that they also added a family coaster from manufacturer Togo called Fantasia Mini Special. Anyways, since then, the ride held its record for having the first and only triple corkscrew on Earth until 2014, when Zhirpao created their 6-ring roller coaster model, which was also the coaster that I mentioned in the intro. It also underwent a color scheme change in 2015 that seemed to draw a lot of attention from the community. The first part was blue, the second with the triple corkscrew red, and the remaining elements of course green. This created what in my opinion is probably the coolest color scheme on a coaster ever. The scenery alone, plus that lake interaction with the colors, is just beyond anything I've seen before. However, all good things must come to an end, and as you know from the intro, Fantasia Special might as well. In 2020, COVID hit the park pretty dang hard, and they were already struggling financially the years prior. Being forced to close, the family who owned the park then couldn't actually afford the upkeep without income, and so when COVID restrictions were lifted, the park was then left in a half-abandoned state. With no other choice, the family then made an attempt to fix the park up with what money was remaining, but plans ultimately failed, and the park is now completely abandoned, including the large hotel, which is a super bummer. A very sad end to an iconic piece of history in the coaster world, and it's always even more sad to see a little family park like this one go down. But hopefully there's a future somewhere else for this attraction if the family decides to try and sell it. But I guess until then, we'll just have to wait and see. With that said though, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. So if you do want to see more videos like this, of course feel free to like and subscribe or drop a comment on any other coasters you want to see covered. That's always great and would be much appreciated. Until then though, I hope you all have an awesome rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. See ya!